Good evening, Internet, and welcome to Top Shift number 42. So, as it's 42, we'll go with excitement and adventure and really wild things, or in this case, exploration. As you can see, I'm back in the Asp. Nice dark Pharaoh Asp. And I am pretty close to my exploration goal, which I have set. We are one system away from the system that I wanted to visit from the very start of this game. Now, at the moment, we're in SIFI RM-Z B15-0, and that is star A. Now, for those of you who are a bit of astronomical nerds, this is one of the procedurally generated systems. As you can see, we've got a class M star, a whole load of unexplored. Those look like as if they're going to be high, either rocky worlds or high metal worlds, and of course a class L dwarf star. These are basically gas giants which are borderline to being stars. Now, that's not what we're interested in, though. Right now, I am one jump away from KOI 3663. Now, KOI 3663 is quite important to me, is because that is Kepler 86. And also, as is important at Kepler 86, it is also known as PH2, and is supposed to have, in the Goldilocks zone, a gas giant, which they theorize is supposed to have round it maybe one or two life-supporting moons. Now, this is important to me because this is one of the first planets that I looked up to try and work out where to set my story, and this one seemed absolutely ideal. Now, for those of you who are unaware, when Elite Dangerous started putting out the fiction packs, I couldn't afford the £5,500, or was it £4,500 for a license. So what I did decide to do was contribute to somebody that had done that, which was the Elite Chronicles site. Now, one thing led to another. 3 chapters of a short story went in, and unfortunately nothing has materialized, so I don't know what's happening with this. However, the story was set to start at Kepler 86, a system I called Fennel because of the code name PH2. I used the chemical symbol and shortened the name. But just to show you exactly where we are, if I type in Sol here, you can see we're 1,992 light years away. Absolutely fantastic, you hear me say. So let's pull out Sol, and pull out, and pull out. There's Alioth, where my lovely silver cheese wedge, the Cobra, lives. And pull out, and pull out, pull out. There's Polaris. And there we have it. You can see that I am that far away. Unfortunately, when you pull out and see the whole of the galaxy, it looks like I've just done a little skip. But then again, this is the total perspective vortex, if you know what I mean. So, here we go. Let's see if anybody, first of all, if anybody else has been there, but more importantly, is there a gas giant in the right places? And if not, well, if there is a gas giant, does it have any moons? So, and are they life supporting?
Frameshift drive charging.
Can't believe I'm actually nervous about this.
Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Right. Okay, we'll go for a full scan. And we'll discover this object. 27 objects here. Now this is the important bit. Once that's scanned, it's F white star. Right. Well, this is interesting. Nobody's been here yet, I don't think. 2 planets, 3, 4. This big blue gas giant is, I suspect, PH2. So let's have a look at it. Now this is how you explore a system. Now, at the moment, my ASP is effectively got the Advanced Discovery Scanner, which does a scan for the whole system, and then the Detailed Surface Scanner. And what happens with the Detailed Surface Scanner is you get to within, well, it all depends on how big the planet you're about to scan is. In this case, it must be quite big because it started to scan quite early. Earlier than I was expecting, actually. Oof, we just got that one in. Right, what have we got so far? Koi 1. High metallic planet with no atmosphere. Well, that's not going to be helpful. And that's just a rock. Yay. Right, now this is... obviously quite massive because I'm able to scan it from over 500 light seconds away. Class 3 gas giant. And that's it, it's a Class 3 gas giant. And this is the next one out. They primarily have hydrogen and helium atmosphere without distinctive cloud layer. Surface temperature is typically between 350 to 350 Kelvin and 800 Kelvin, and are primarily blue in colour because of an optical scattering in the atmosphere, wispy cloud layers and sulfur chlorides. Well, interesting. But no moons. That's a little disappointing, to be honest. Of course, this the main reason that was a little disappointing is because, as I was saying, that is in one of the first planets to be discovered in the Goldilocks zone. And scientists knew it was a gas giant, but they were speculating, like Saturn and like Jupiter, it might have tons and tons of little planetoids around it. So you'd be kind of have a kind of Yavin 4 situation where you have a habitable moon orbiting the planet. But in this simulation, it's not to be. They do have the moon there, but the gas giant there, but no habitable areas. Scanning this planet, see what there is. And a high metal content planet. Oh well. But that would be out of the Goldilocks zone anyway. An awful lot of rocks here, which I don't think we need to worry about. Heck of a lot of rocks. Here we are, our next planet. Also marked as unexplored. This will be yet another gas giant. That's got a nitrogen planet. Oh, look at this. This planet is a candidate for terraforming. So I could actually use in my story Koi 3663-3 as the habitable planet in my story. All it needs is a little bit of creative license to say that the terraformers have already got there, or it's a crash ship. But yeah, that's not as bad as I thought it was. Silver linings, eh? Well, as this carries on, we'll just quickly touch on what's been happening in the Elite universe. At the moment, PowerPlay 1.3 has been announced, which adds that extra level of intrigue into the game. I think I've touched on this before, but the galaxy at the moment, as you know, is split into 3 major factions: Empire, Alliance, and Federation. Now, within each of these factions, there are little sub-factions, if you like. Various senators, vice presidents, admirals, all making plays and little political maneuverings. And PowerPlay allows you to do such a thing. It allows you to contribute. So you sign up with one of these factions, and then you run missions for them, or get involved in goals, or declare war on other factions. And best way to think about it is that if the faction leader could be considered a risk player, you are one of those tiny little pieces on a risk board moving about the place. It does add a little bit of extra depth to the game. I'm not sure how it's going to play out. If it's anything like the Lu event, where we had all these, a wonderful event a couple of months ago, which I thoroughly enjoyed being a part of. If it causes more events like that to concern, I'm all for it. Because I think that's what the game's missing at the moment, that level of player involvement in these kind of things. Right. Well, I don't know what I'm scanning here, but let's have a look. Now, that is probably due to drop Power Play by the end of this month. I do know it's going into beta, I think, a week on Thursday. So that would be the 20th. Another high metal content planet. Now, is that one suitable for terraforming? It's not. Right. So, yes, that's Power Play is coming before the end of the month. Before then, as of today, I think the 12th, you should be able to play this game on the Mac. And that would be Mac players, PC players, all sharing the same universe and same instances. So you never know if next time you're shooting up another ship, they could be flying PC or Mac. That's fantastic as far as I'm concerned. I know that I've got a couple of people, friends of mine, who use Macs, and they've been looking at this game going, wish it would worked on mine. Well, you're now welcome to join us. Specs, I think, are a little bit higher than you'd expect. I certainly know it doesn't work well on my Mac Mini. In order to get anything decent, you've got to turn down all the graphical options to its absolute basic, and even then you get 30 frames a second, which is kind of playable, but nothing compared to the quality that you're seeing here. And another bit of good news as this continues on is that we'll all have Steam keys available to us soon. Now, when this game was released on Steam, there was a bit of a furor for the existing people who said, well, we want to have Steam keys, we want to link it directly in. And unfortunately, that was not available at the time. It is now. So, you're probably looking at being able to use your Steam key towards the end of the month. However, and this is a big however, if you want to use your Steam key, I have a sneaking suspicion you won't be able to take part in the betas. That's still yet to be confirmed. So until it's confirmed that I can still do my beta testing without losing my Steam, while using my Steam key, I'm going to ease off from that. But that was a bit of good news, and it did seem to quell a little bit of unrest on the forums. I also know that, knowing Steam and Steam as I do, that would have taken quite a bit of work to get sorted, so you got to tip your hat to Frontier there. That's a whole lot of rocky planets there. Do I really want to be scanning all these rocky planets? Probably not. So, well, we'll scan it anyway. I want this system completely and utterly properly scanned. So, this is nowhere near as bad as I thought. Nobody's got here yet, so I'm quite happy with that. Another rocky planet. Any other rocky planets left? Well, while this scan is happening, I might as well point out that I am back into reading Elite Fiction again. I think I've only got 2 books left now. And the first one is Wanted by Gavin Diaz. It's a glance book, so it's not exactly... It's not gone through the Kickstarter route. This is a proper full-length publisher, professional writer. Well, if you know what I mean, these are people who do writing full time, and about 7 or 8% of the way in, according to my Kindle stats. It's certainly dealing with the underbelly of Elite Dangerous, but it's certainly a good page turner. So interesting to see how this one's going to pan out. So yeah. So I think this is the final gas giant, isn't there? Or is it? Ah, there we are. Oh my word, hang on a sec. There's an awful lot missing. Is it? Oh, of course, no. Those were asteroid belts. So, yeah. You don't get anything for scanning asteroid belts. You do get things for planets, even rocky planets, you get credit for. Now, one of the things that I should point out is that even though my Explorer rank is Surveyor, and I'll just quickly look down here, it says Systems Visited 399, Level Detail 2 Scans 119. That's not true. You only get those counters incremented when you cache your data in. And I must admit, I've now got 2,000 light years to go back home before I can cache this in. Still, it might allow me to upgrade the AF's frameshift drive to an A grade. Unfortunately, where I was, they didn't sell A grade, so I'm flying on a B grade frameshift drive. I can get 22 light years out of it. It's quite good going. But it'll be interesting to see what the 2 new ships in Powerplay will be able to do. Especially the Diamondback, because that is now highlighted as a Explorer stroke heavy fighter. Now, if that's the case, well, it does look like a cross between an Asp and a Vulture, so it's probably taking the best of both worlds. And for me personally, that's the one I'm excited about. Everybody else, however, is more excited about the legendary Imperial Courier. This ship was used in Frontier and in First Encounters, and apart from the Cobra Mark III, it was the next ship everybody wanted to have. It kind of looks, in the old system, it kind of looked like the Liberator, but with the top nacelle taken off. Mind you, if you wanted something that looked like the Liberator, there's this thing called the Imperial Trader. And the Imperial Explorer, that looked like an upside-down Enterprise. There's even a little nod to that in the blurb on the manual, if I remember rightly. It said something along the lines of, "This ship looks strangely familiar. Don't know why." Right, so we've got that gas giant there. So, let's start in on the nearest moon. They're all going to be icy rocks, but like I said, I'm being a completist on this one. Now, as you can imagine, if I took half an hour to explore each system, I think I've been over, there's been 110 jumps to get this far. So that's 110 systems. And if I took half an hour to scan, another scan coming in. Yep, icy planet, there's a surprise. I mean, admittedly, if you're this far out, it's you don't expect there to be a nice warm fuzzy planet out this far out from the sun. Yeah, there we go. Oh, might have chosen the wrong one there. Now there is one thing to point out at the moment, is the level 2 and level 3 scans, they seem to be bugged. I think the plan was a level 2 scan is the equivalent of scanning the system with my Advanced Discovery scanner, and a level 3 scan is actually scanning the system with the detail scanner, which means going around, I think, every system. However, every item within that system. However, I think there is a bug where the level 3 scans are not being registered properly. But then again, it'll be interesting to see, because I won't know until I actually get back and cache this data in. Now, are we missing one more? Yes, we are. And it's the far side of that gas giant. Now you'll notice that this far out, you don't get any signal sources, you don't get any NPC ships. The only threat that you'll have is from other players. Although, what has been happening this week is that people have been discovering remote probes, which just past that Jovian type by, looks very green. Right, well, I'm going to stop, I think, in a minute. We will just head to Koi 3. And wait up there. Now, the report of PH2b, which is the big blue gas giant we've just passed, that was discovered by an amateur astronomer by the name of Rafal, and I do apologise for this, Hertzkoswicz, using his laptop and the internet project data from the Kepler Space Observatory. So it has been identified by citizen scientists Abe J. Hoekstra, Thomas Lee Jacobs, Dallin Lacoste, Hans Martin Schwengler, Raphael and Mike Choplin, with the help of Yale University astronomers. Now, like I said, this is a simulation. They have taken a whole load of available astronomical data from 3 different sources, Kepler being one of them. Oh, look at that. It's got a different... Kepler 2 has got a different orbital path. It goes over the Sun, as opposed to Kepler 3 going round. Now, obviously, Kepler Koi 3663, that's 1,000 light seconds out from the Sun. Now, I can't remember how far Mars is from our Sun. Well, actually, let's have a quick look at PH2 then. Before we end up there. Now, this is supposed to be blue with a whole load of maybe cloudy flecks in it. And you can certainly see the blue hue as we approach. And yet again, this is one of these... one of the things I've been discovering on the trip out here, there has been a lot of spine-tingling moments when you come out of hyperspace. And then you start scanning the systems, and yeah, there's been quite a few moments where I've gone at little bits of little goosebumps as the... Yes, it looks very, very much like Neptune, doesn't it? As we get in closer, you can see the cloud formations. Little white flecks of cloud. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've finally made it to PH2 and Kepler 86. Now's the fun bit of going the other 2,000 light years back home just to claim the data. So, wish us luck, thanks for joining me, and good night.